What? A Fender Africa guitar? Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. A viewer sent this really cool 1992 Fender Stratocaster to me that MIII's guitar bar listed for sale recently. And at first I was like, hey, yeah, that's kind of cool. You've got some sort of a gold pickguard going on with your black pickups, all gloss red body with awesome ash wood grain. You don't see many Fender Stratocasters stock with gold hardware either, but I was thinking this was one of those anodized gold pickguards. But no, it's not. It's a really reflective mirror-like one. But it also has a simplified control layout. It only has 2 knobs instead of our regular 3. And then you got the elephant in the room. Look at our neck. It is all red, which is always a really cool custom effect because usually you don't see that until you get to like Fender art guitars. Like sometimes you'll find purple necks and whatnot. But it's just like how they do the tinted necks. They just sprayed it red instead of an ambered yellow, which kind of reminds me of this guitar, the bigger red, as we had documented in this episode. It was an ES335 that had the red goopy goop fretboard. It's one of the more iconic mod collection guitars because Gibson rarely does lacquered fretboards, let alone a colored one. But then we get to our headstock and it is also red, with the vintage style poke it down, wrap it around style tuners, also done up in gold with a matching gold string tree, with our beautiful Fender logo. This thing even has a cool brass nut. You don't see that too often anymore. And then unsurprisingly, the back is the exact same. But hey, what is that on the back of the neck? Made in Japan, M027929. Now, whoa, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Trogly, didn't you say this is a Fender Africa guitar? Yes, but it wasn't made in Africa, it was made because of Africa. You know, the Toto song. In this music video, apparently Steve Lukather is using a Schecter branded guitar that looks nearly identical to this. That's one of those guitars I'd never seen before, but I love this song, so now that there's 2 and 2 put together there, this is the Fender Africa guitar. Now I know what you're thinking. Did somebody buy this and modify it to make it look like that instrument? Was it ever given to Steve because of it? No. According to MIII's guitar bar, this was part of Fender Japan's order-made program, which makes sense due to our markings that we've seen. But they described it as a custom shop for non-catalog and sometimes one-off instruments. So kind of think modern day mod shop for made in Japan instruments. So that's how they were able to get the transparent red gloss finish, the gold hardware, mirrored pickguard, brass nut, all that good stuff. But as far as specs, they used the base model of a 1954 Strat with the ash body and a V-shaped neck profile carve. The neck measurements are looking pretty good here, and it has that very vintage 7¼ inch radius with your usual 25½ inch scale length. And they use ceramic magnet single coils that apparently are called Hot Rod 7S pickups. They feature really oversized pull pieces, which was very apparent when you really look at it, apparently trying to emulate Schecter's monster tone pickups. So at first, I just thought this was kind of a cool anomaly custom order Stratocaster, but the guitar bar did a great job at figuring out what somebody was trying to do here to really market it as something special. They're listing this 1992 creation for $3,000. Now you might think, yeah, that's kind of expensive for a Fender Japan. Just let me tell ya, there are a lot of collectors out there that just love Fender Japan, and I'm kind of one of them, because they do such weird stuff that is quirky and unconventional. Another good one from around this era is the nylon string Stratocaster. It was a Yngwie Malmsteen signature, and then there's also some non-signature ones. But that's an example of another guitar that does sell for around this, so even if you think that price is crazy, I don't know, I think it'll still disappear. What a cool guitar. But I've got a whole bunch of other cool ones for you tonight, but first we need to hear a word from our sponsor, Sweetwater. Sweetwater is one of my favorite ways to online shop for new gear, mainly because they make it really easy to find what you want. Whether that's you've nailed down exactly what model you want and are just trying to find the particular top that you like best, or maybe you don't care the way it looks and you just want a specific weight, like look at that one, 8.5 pounds, or maybe you're looking for a particular anniversary date or something. They tell you the serial numbers. But they sell more than just guitars. They've got all the accessories, recording equipment, computers. You can also visit them in their Fort Wayne, Indiana location to take music lessons or participate in any of their events. One of my favorites is the open mic night. That's free and they do it every month. They also do monthly giveaways that you can follow the link in the description to become a part of. And now through July 31st, they are having a demo sale. So go check them out. Thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring tonight's episode. Now let's get back to the guitars. But hey, if Stratocasters aren't your thing, I've got a nice Les Paul that has very similar vibes. Not an ash body, but a beautiful flame maple top on this cherry red custom. It's got all the gold hardware without a stock factory pickguard. That's why this thing looks so different. And the fact that you just don't normally see all red customs. But our back is our regular mahogany material. We've got our top and back bound in multiply white and black binding. Looks like somebody's replaced our strap locks. And no, I'm sorry, no red painted fretboard. It's ebony with mother of pearl inlays. And our headstock's a little bit dusty, but other than that, it just looks like your typical finish checking around our logo. Just in case you think that looks weird, that's how you actually know a Gibson is real, after a couple of years anyway. But this one has 6 digits in our serial number, so that puts us in the 2010s plus era, and this one will tell us it is a 2011 example. Billed as a custom F. Now, something to keep in mind for 2011 is that is a transitional year when they start to incorporate Richlight more. By 2012, pretty much everything was Richlight, but it looks like we can see the wood grain, so this one must have slid in there. However, if you're interested in this guitar, ask the seller for confirmation of that, because sometimes photos can be a bit deceiving, if ebony versus Richlight even matters to you. But hey, if red's not your thing, how about this 2008 Sparkle Les Paul Standard? You don't see these things every day. It's a really gaudy in-your-face custom shop creation. Nowadays, we get really spoiled with the mod collection and we see this stuff all the time, but you just gotta remember, put yourself back in 2008. Sure, you had the Millennium Series 2000 Sparkle Top Standards, and in the late 90s, they got a little bit crazy as well, but it still was not as heavily prevalent. But this one has a black back and sides. That's interesting, with that really in-your-face green sparkle. One of my favorite Sparkle runs actually comes from this Steve Stevens lesson video for the White Wedding Riff and a few others. It's such an interesting guitar. It's a cherry sunburst Sparkle with a stock factory clear pickguard, his head binding on the headstock. Apparently this was a small run. I wouldn't mind documenting one of those one day if anybody has it. But the other thing about this green one is it almost looks like it has like a yellowed burst to it. It plays the color shifting game. And oh, nice, that's cool. So Japanese case candy means it probably went to Yamano, and custom shops don't normally get baby photos, and they weren't even doing baby photos yet. But it looks like that backplate has 2 signatures, Edwin Wilson and Tom Fowle. So that's 5 serial numbers with an 8 leading. That means it's a 2008. That thing's pretty cool. How much does he want? $5,500. Next up tonight, take a look at this thing. If I remember correctly, the official color of this one's like salt and pepper, but it's basically a trans black double cut Les Paul Standard. But what makes this one increasingly fascinating is somebody's replaced our pickups to have double cream, which brings out the lighter hues in this particular shade and kind of give you Ace Frehley vibes without having the middle pickup. You could probably fit a mini humbucker in there, but probably not another humbucker. But it looks like we might have some sort of a Bill Lawrence pickup in there. The back, just like that green one, is all black. And ooh, looks like they have upgraded our tuners as well. 100% confirmed. That one's over in Japan, $1,700 plus shipping. Here's another rare one. I think it's only the 3rd or 4th that I've seen in the past 3 or 4 years I've been looking. Offered by Chasing Classic Guitars. They want $4,600, but this is the M3 Deluxe. Now, if you're seeing this for the first time, you're probably like, whoa, what? This is Gibson's best attempt at a Super Strat. It just came way too late. But you can check out this episode if you want to learn all the different variations. But the Deluxe is really cool in my opinion because you get the walnut top layer, you get a red stained poplar, and then you get a maple layer. And then you flip it over to the back, then you get another walnut, and then usually you get some sort of figuring. Sometimes you can find the ones with flame necks on top of all that. But to find these in clean shape, or really at all, is pretty difficult. So I thought I would bring it up, because it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, and I think I already have this model, and I was pretty happy with its condition overall. But I just love the multi-layers of these woods. They make them really fancy, and I could not see Gibson doing that again today, outside of like a really high-end custom shop, because it's just too labor-intensive for them. But what's really cool about this one is you get a little bit of original case candy, and it has the original case, and it's got good wood grain. So there you go, if you want it, $4,600 shipped from United Kingdom. Similar to that last one, here's an 81 Heritage Standard 80. It's kind of an interesting top. It's got a lot of quilty figuring down here, but then doesn't look like too much up there. There's usually a lot of these things over in Japan. But Heritage Series Standard 80 Elite, which would normally mean an ebony fretboard. And it could be the light playing tricks on us, but that really looks like rosewood to me. But how many pieces is the neck? That is another difference, 1-piece neck versus 3-piece neck of those. You can check out this episode if you need to learn all the fine nitty-gritty details. But that looks like it might be a 3-piece neck. Not entirely too sure. And then, there we go. See, I've been custom commissioned to find number 1, 2, 3, 4. And I found it once, but then it wasn't that guitar. So we might not even be looking for that particular number. But this one looks different from that last one. So I'll have to send it to him again, because it's not that unlikely that one of these got stamped twice with the same number. But this has got some interesting stuff going on. Stand rash, almost looks like new spliced in wood over here. It's probably just a bad touch-up job. That's why sometimes you're just better off leaving it as is. But this one's listed a little high at $6,500. Following that up, take a look at this. Steve's Guitars in Akron, Ohio found another one of the flying VKs. We had recently documented one of the cherry-colored ones. And yep, this one's also from 2001 and is one of the natural-colored. Personally, I'd probably prefer the natural, but mine's like very, very clean, so it's nice. But basically how this works is everything is 67 style except for the body wood, which is 58 style. And being the natural color, you get to appreciate the wood grain. But what's really cool about these is they actually have the 67 style trem on them. But interestingly enough, this one's only called a 67 Flying V. It doesn't have the VK branding like my COA has. So AK might seem expensive, but these are more so a niche collector item that you had to pay a premium for. So it works great for collectors or somebody who just likes to play rare guitars in general, because you don't see Korina 67 Flying Vs very often. Alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.